Hi, welcome in. Today we are painting a fox in a greenhouse. He's got a little strawberry plant in front of him. I think it's cute. It's for my uni project. So we are using gouache paint here. I wouldn't say I'm very experienced with gouache paint. I wanted to push myself to try and learn how to use it a little better because I usually reach for things like markers and colour pencils that are at least a little easier to control, so I really wanted to try and push myself to learn to paint properly. So here I'm just blocking out the shadows for the leaves and the little bean plants in the background. It looks a lot darker here than it's actually going to be when the paint dries for some reason. This is from a little series of paintings, illustrations I'm doing of animals just sort of living in the countryside, I guess. Specifically animals that are kind of seen as like pests. I have a big soft spot for animals that maybe people don't like. I feel like if an animal is annoying you, it's never the animal's fault, you know, like they're just trying to live and stuff. So today I'm focusing on a fox because for some reason a lot of people in the countryside, at least in like England, see foxes as pests, and I don't think that's very fair because like they're just trying to live, you know. But yeah. So here I'm still just blocking in shadows, getting everything filled in, making it actually, you know, you can sort of start to see the shapes of the plants. Obviously I'm still going to paint over them and try and make them look more planty, but this does go on for quite a while. Obviously I'm trying to be careful to not go over the lines a little too much because gouache, because it's water activated, it's very easy when you paint over it to reactivate the paint underneath, which can be good for things like blending, but it's not exactly the effect I'm going for right now. So I want to try and avoid that in the future if possible. When I started doing this painting and the other painting, just sort of thinking of this project in general, I was playing a lot of Animal Crossing, which I guess probably inspired it. Speaking of which, you're gonna get the Switch too, because I'm thinking I might probably get one when I can afford it because it's expensive. But 70 quid for a game, oh my god, what are they thinking? I'm not entirely sure, but I hope the upgrades at least aren't like super expensive if they're paid, because I really don't want to buy Animal Crossing again or all my Pokemon games. Oh my god. But I'm pretty excited for it. It seems like a pretty big upgrade from the Switch. And maybe I can finally play Pokemon Scarlet at more than 20 FPS. So here I'm starting to paint the leaves in. I'm using sort of like one darker shade of green because a good thing about gouache is that you can paint over things with other colours. It's not like watercolour where, you know, if you want to go lighter after you've gone dark, you're kind of screwed. You can't really do that. I am still trying to take lighting into account. As you can see, I'm putting a lighter green, some yellows down for future use, to paint nearer where the light source is, which is the window in the back. I actually thought I'd forgotten to record this. I couldn't find a clip. So I'd done a whole little voiceover section being like, sorry, I lost the clip, and then I found the clip. It just showed up. I don't know what that was about, but at least you get to see me paint the leaves now. So did you guys all go to watch the Minecraft movie? I honestly liked it a lot more than I thought it would. I thought it would be like terrible, and I think it probably was like objectively terrible from a filmmaking standpoint, but I had a lot of fun. Like, they didn't spend too much in the real world, which I was worried about, and like, it just was a Minecraft movie. You can't really ask for much more. It was quite silly, but again, it's a kid's film, and I mean, how are you going to make a film out of Minecraft? I'm just sad they didn't go to the end. Now I'm just trying to define the leaves a little bit, and I painted in the table. There were so many times when I was drawing this that I wanted to just sort of give up and try over because it wasn't turning out how I wanted it to turn out, but I think the most important thing to do is to just sort of push through and trust the process. But you do also need to know when to give up. I was just being and I was overthinking it, I think. These clips are all a little out of order. I don't think I did a great job editing this video, but here I'm just adding some leaves to the background just to give the appearance of trees and stuff in the background. Now the background looks like it's really messy at the moment because there isn't any straight edges. It's sort of like the paint's going everywhere, all off the image and everything, but there is tape there, which I will peel away at the end, so don't worry, trust the process. Now here I'm just going to do the window panes, the little what's it called, the lines for the window panes. This was so nerve-wracking to do. I was trying to be so careful, but honestly I think they turned out alright. Now unfortunately I forgot to record me painting the orange in for the fox and these pots. I mean, this is my first time actually making a YouTube video, so it's all slipped my mind. I guess I'm like not in the habit yet. I'll do better, I promise. Here I'm just starting to get a little bit of details down. I struggled a lot with this fox's shirt. I definitely need to do more clothing studies, but it is kind of hard to put clothes and stuff on like an anthro character. Like, say what you will about furries, but like their art is kind of impressive after trying to make these like anthro characters for this project. It's tricky trying to put animal proportions onto a human body. Anyway, here I'm just sort of trying to get his fur to look like actual fur. And yeah. Oh, I'm also adding some little white for the tail and his snout, just because foxes do have like white tips for their tails and white snouts. Now, I said I wanted to challenge myself with using paints, and I definitely did feel challenged, and I could not help myself from going back to my beloved markers. These Artex markers, I actually do really like them. They're quite transparent though. I have another brand that's just like a no-name acrylic marker brand that's a lot more opaque, but it also has a habit of pulling up the paper and making it give like little textures. Anyway, here I'm using the markers to just add some depth to the grapes, which those are grapes at the top, by the way. They did just sort of look like green blobs. But that's what adding detail is for, to make these green blobs look like grapes and sort of get the message across. Art in general is hard because you need a lot of patience for it. And I think that's one of the reasons why AI art looks so attractive to just the normal people. You know, they don't have to put the effort in to learn art or the patience and everything, but there's just no gratification from, like, in my opinion at least, there's no gratification from just instantly getting the image you want. Half the fun of creating is just creating. It's not the end product, sorry. And sometimes I look at my art and I'm like, damn, it's not quite how I envisioned, you know, it's not quite good enough. But the fact that I made it is still impressive in itself. There's something human about it that just, like, you can't recreate with a computer. And I know that if I keep painting, I keep drawing, the more I do it, the better I'll get. And I guess that's why I started posting my art in the first place, and like wanting to, you know, share it with you, make longer YouTube videos to sort of inspire myself to keep creating, if nothing else. I've sort of been in a creative slump for the first 3 months of this year, being like, what's even the point, you know? I'm in art school, I'm in my final year of art school actually, and I was like, what is even the point of getting the degree if like AI is gonna like take all the opportunities and no one's gonna hire us? But there will always be a market for human-led art. And even if there isn't, and I genuinely never work in the industry that I've always wanted to work in, like, oh well, at least I'm creating still. That makes me better than a computer. Because truth be told, I'll just be happy as long as I can draw, and it doesn't really matter like whether I'm like working in an office or working flipping burgers or something. No shame in flipping burgers, by the way. I've worked in a Mackey's before. I just think for me, it doesn't really matter what I'm doing as long as I still get to create at the end of the day in my free time. But I'd like to hear your guys' opinions on like AI art and stuff like that, because it is very worrying for like artists how, like, I don't want to say it's getting good because it will never quite, it will never quite capture the soul that artists put into their work, but to a general consumer, it is sort of getting to a point where a general consumer who doesn't know much about art can't really tell the difference. Like, my dad sure can't. But on the topic of creating, maybe if you're watching this and you're not an artist and you're like, I want to be able to draw, but like it's so hard or whatever, I just want to say there's no bad reason to start drawing, right? Like when I started drawing, it was because I wanted to draw Five Nights at Freddy's characters to role play with on Tumblr. And they looked so bad. I might put one of them on the screen right now, but I had a great time drawing them because like I was 12 and I just wanted to draw Five Nights at Freddy's characters, and I think that's what it's all about really. It doesn't matter what the end product looks like as long as you had a good time drawing it. And if you're a beginner, the most important thing is to just keep drawing. Don't worry about what anyone else thinks of it, just keep drawing, and if it makes you happy, you're doing a good job. So I just got so distracted. Here I'm adding some details to the fox. That's what I was doing last time with the coloured pencils as well. Just sort of trying to bring everything together. And here I'm just trying to bring some other colours from the drawing into areas that maybe don't have those colours in. So I'm bringing some red here into the grapes, which you can also see in like the strawberries and the fox. These are Prismacolor colour pencils. They are really expensive, but I've had these since high school, so they really do last if you use them sparingly, like I do. And they are so good quality. They go over anything, I swear. So here I'm just doing some final details, trying to make some things look more contrasted, outlining the fox. Just sort of trying to bring everything together fully. I am such a perfectionist. I have a really bad habit of overworking my pieces in this stage, so it is kind of hard for me to stop. So this goes on for quite a bit. And we're finally taking the tape off. I was so nervous doing this that the paint, sometimes I do it wrong and the paint does leak through underneath the tape, but that didn't happen here luckily. There is paint already on the paper because I drew this in my sketchbook. However, I do intend to scan it in and get rid of those paint marks, so it's all good. You can see I'm just being really careful with my fingers there just to make sure that it doesn't peel up any of the paper, which I mean it did anyway, but like it's fine. But oh my god, isn't that so satisfying? Those clean edges, it looks so good. Thank you so much for watching. If you like my work, I am on TikTok, Blue Sky and Insta, so I'm about, and links are in the description. I'll see you later.